Hello, everybody. Welcome to a super, and I mean, this is really the most live we've ever been because we've got Robert Martellacci, and this guy is on the move. The king of Canadian EdTech is joining us somewhere in beautiful Canada on the move. So, Robert, welcome to the show. Where the heck are you?
Thank you so much. I just pulled off the road, so I'm not driving. I'm on my way to Muskoka, beautiful Muskoka, the home of Cindy Crawford, Kevin O'Leary, and a lot of other, Kenny G, and a lot of other famous folks. And we're going to explore the wilderness and connect with some friends that hosted us up in Sudbury, Ontario, where the NASA folks did some actual testing of the lunar landing back in the day, it's been said, and replicates the moon landing. Some speculate that it actually happened in Sudbury, Ontario.
Wow, crazy. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. Thank your wife for allowing you to pull off. I thank my wife for allowing me for the next 45 minutes. I told her we're going to go 20 minutes, but I'll go a little longer.
Yeah.
She says I'm too damn loud. So I said, hey, for the next 45, I'm going to be loud, if that's okay. So she has now moved into another room. So thank our wives for putting up with our shit.
Absolutely, for sure.
So, we want to welcome everybody to the show. John Greiner is a good friend of the show here, and never know where he's joining us from. He could be joining us from Georgia, the state, or Italy, the country. Wow. The guy just kind of checks in from all over the world. He's been living in Naples, Italy, and spending some time in Georgia.
Oh my! Well, my family's from Italy, with the last name like Martellacci. Hey, by the way, it was great to connect with you at the EdTech Summer Institute in Baltimore a week or so ago. Amazing time, amazing to spend time with you.
It is a wonderful opportunity to get together and really do a lot of listening. I love the fact that EdTech says, do this, and people respect that. And you go there to listen and to learn and to contribute. And Jen Ferrari and her team and Jaime have laid down the law, and it's a good one. And so you get to go there and really just kind of take things in. But you've been going for how many years you've been going?
I started in 1998. I know I look a lot younger than I am, but that was the first time in Canada. And then as you and I are expert advisors, we get an opportunity to get a window into what's happening in school districts, hearing firsthand from school board superintendents, and then connecting with the EdTechs and sitting in on some of their sessions, hearing some of their challenges and pain points, and then advising aspiring EdTech leaders that want to make a difference on strategies to really connect. We're the connectors in the equation and understand, like we help build that bridge, right? To help, support teachers and helping kids thrive.
Yeah, totally. And then I was lucky enough. I went 2 for 2, and then I went up to beautiful Vermont and spent some time at the startup lab with IEI.
Right.
So that was super interesting, and I want to talk through that with you at some point. So
absolutely.
Right now, I want to talk about this idea that you have really, let's just say perfected, which is this idea that you don't need to post more. Most of the people don't need to show up more. The people we know don't need to share their wins or their story more. What they need is more pull. They need more pull. What people miss, I think, in the EdTech space about getting known is they miss the fact that visibility does not equal traction.
Well said. I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. Innovation happens at the speed of trust, and building trusting relationships, as we did at ISTE, at ERDI, and other events, our upcoming Canadian EdTech Summit, which I'm looking forward to hosting you at
Ding, ding,
and having
ding.
you on a panel. Those are critical conversations. And oftentimes you're actually not talking about business and ed tech, you're building a relationship. There are many folks I connected with for the first time at ERDI. One was a superintendent, recently retired, and we really bonded over hockey because I think he was
Mhm.
from the Denver area. And it's making those connections that really solidify a relationship where if you reach out to a superintendent, that they would actually take your call or return an email. And that was one of the comments I made while we were having conversations to a couple of them to get their lens and perspective on how they manage post ERDI or
Mhm.
post ISTE. You met a ton of people. How do you decipher what tools you might pursue or relationships you might build? Like, how does that work? And it's those who hit the radar, stay on the radar, as one superintendent once described. Imagine a radar map.
Mhm.
I only have so much space on that radar. You need to be on that radar. And how do you achieve that? It's really about building trusting relationships.
Totally. Yeah, you can post every day
Yeah.
and you could still be ignored. What the
Oh,
superintendents want in the case that you mentioned here in terms of being on the radar, they want trust, not volume. One of the things that you
purposeful posting, right? It
very
needs to
much.
be. And listen, I'm guilty as you may be have been in the past of perhaps posting too much. It's a delicate balance, right? And my kids, my filter is my wife and my kids. Sometimes they'll say, "Dad, you got to ease up a bit. That's a little more information than people want to know." But on a Saturday, I might post that I'm rollerblading with my dog Romeo or my daughter's dog, who we're blessed that she left him with us when she moved out, which I don't mind at all. He's a great dog. But I'll post that I'm rollerblading because I want to show that I'm human and that self care and balance is really important to me. You know,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. Luckily, my wife is not on social media, so she doesn't have the opportunity to ding me for that. My one of my work wives, his name is John Gamba, tells me all the time that I post too much, and I try to explain to that beautiful old man that the
right?
reason you think I post too much is because the algorithm knows you love what I post. So it's going to put you,
Uh,
it's going to put my beautiful face up in front of you every single time that I post. Granted, maybe sometimes I post a little bit too much. I just spent the last day with Michael Fay, who you would find fascinating. He bought my second business from me. He also owns 52 Subway restaurants, and one of his
wow.
favorite things to say is that Josh Chernikoff has not met a camera he didn't like, and that's fine. I've been accused of a lot worse. So all
Well,
good there.
absolutely. And I was going to say, perhaps you might post too much on occasion, but if it makes you happy and it's cathartic, then go
It's
for it.
fun. It's fun too.
How many? What's the optimal number from your perspective? How many posts will you put up a day on average, say on LinkedIn?
Yeah. So I have this theory, and Ken, who's our producer and helps
Right.
me with so much, um, uh, and he and what we have is kind of two channels running on our my LinkedIn personal profile. One of
Okay.
them I consider it kind of like white noise, and it's the videos from our shows, and those are the social media clips, and those are things that are always running, and people are seeing that, and whether they're clicking it or not, that's okay, but they're seeing the presence and what we're talking about. And then there's the other part. those are the posts that I do probably 3 times a week that only I can write. I have the pictures. I take, I have those
Right.
experiences, and
Right.
I try and bring those experiences, to the people that I interact with on LinkedIn. So, I think we're posting 5 times a week, but 3 to 4 times, some hopefully some deeper engagement.
Okay. So
Yeah.
here's something for you. That's cool. So Guy Kawasaki, former Apple evangelist, legend. He's crazy about hockey. Lives in Hawaii. He's crazy about hockey. I met him at South by Southwest EDU 8 years ago, and he says, I'm now an ambassador for Canva, and Canva was just coming on the scene,
Hmm.
and that is a key. A couple things out of that. I came back and I said to my colleague who was a professor in the Middle East teaching, power user of Adobe. And I said, we're pivoting to Canva. Lost their mind. Lost their mind. They thought that was not a good move. We still use Adobe, but we are power users of Canva. We just had co-op students, interns for a month, and now they're experts on it. And so what he shared was, if you post on LinkedIn or Twitter at the time, he referenced Twitter, but I think it holds true for other platforms. It's okay to post morning, and then you post in the afternoon and the evening, because people don't always see your posts,
Right.
right? So strategically, it's good to repost on certain platforms. I'm not sure that would hold true necessarily for LinkedIn. You repost things on LinkedIn?
I originate everything from LinkedIn, and then I'll repost through into Facebook and Instagram.
Right, right.
But I might
Yeah,
rewrite it.
LinkedIn. My go-to in the past was Twitter, but for obvious reasons, it's lost a lot of its luster.
Yeah.
I don't ignore it, but it speaks to the fact that we are living in a fragmented world where we don't have the medium. The notion that Dr. Marshall McLuhan, a famous professor from the University of Toronto, actually, where we're coincidentally hosting our Canadian EdTech AI Summit, October 29th and 30th. You're all
Ding,
welcome to
ding,
join
ding.
us. And that's the home of Dr. Hinton, the pioneer of AI, believe it or not. So another, hats off to U of T. But there are a couple of really important messages that came out of U of T. And one was, the medium is the message, right?
Okay.
That's Dr. Marshall McLuhan. Incredible mind. In the 60s, he envisioned the internet. He envisioned, I talk about interconnected human networks powered by tech-infused pedagogy. That's what I talk about when I talk about the future of learning and where it's going. It's the interconnected human networks, leveraging technology. We need to differentiate, and human ingenuity is what we have. So sure, you're leveraging AI, but leveraging your human ingenuity. We all have gifts. You have gifts. You love the camera. I love the camera. You were on, and I don't know if the viewers know, but you were a sportscaster on TV at one time, which is pretty cool.
I might have mentioned that.
And then you pivoted. We all pivot during our career. I was a sport information director at a university and hockey player. So, it's cool that we both have sports backgrounds, because that says a lot about leadership and the people we meet along the way that hold senior level positions in school districts at universities. Most of them have either a sports or recreation background, or passionate. So they know how to balance, and those leadership skills you garner from athletics, the character development, really helps you. And perhaps that's why you're so full of character.
Well, one of the things, okay, I agree with everything you say, and John is chiming in here, also saying that what you're saying is key. I agree, and John, exactly what Robert said is key. You can let us know what that part was, Robert. Um, while we joke about liking the camera and kind of
Mhm.
enjoying what we do here, I also know that we love to share the stage, and there's
Absolutely.
and there's an opportunity when you have your own stage to bring people up on the stage, and that sharing that space with people who already have it through panels, features, summits, things like this helps everybody out, including the person who's hosting, including the person who's coming on. So it can't be done willy-nilly. This stuff isn't easy to produce. I've got Ken, who's a phenomenal producer. I'm sure you have people who are producing. But what about sharing the stage with people? How do you feel about that?
Wow. Wow. That's serendipity because yesterday I had Dr. Tom D'Amico, one of the most notable district superintendents, CEOs in Canada, recently retired, who I hosted on uh, our Mindshare TV podcast. And it was such an honor to have a 30-minute conversation. And we
Mm,
had a deep dive into his career, who inspired him along the way, how he developed a passion for tech. I knew his father, who was the executive director of the Nectar Foundation, which was a software development arm of the Ottawa Catholic District School Board. And I said to him,
wow.
say a special hello to his ailing father
Mm,
yesterday. And that was almost 30 years ago. And so, again, relationships are long-standing, but we unpacked the whole AI journey of the Ottawa Catholic District School Board. And why did they embrace it in the most meaningful way is because he understands technology. He has embraced the growth and innovators mindset and understands the power to, you can use AI as a tool, but if you use it as an engine, it will be transformational.
mm,
And what they managed to do is scale AI across a large district of 50,000 plus students and teachers. How did they achieve that? They did a superintendent's conference. They did a student conference. They did a teacher conference.
mm.
Ongoing professional learning. They created micro videos on how to. They created, get this, one of the first districts to ever offer an AI certification program within their district for a teacher.
Wow. Wow. And John chimed in here. John Greiner said, currently living in a fragmented quote unquote state and leveraging human skill with AI while preserving strong decision
Wow.
making skills as a human. He got you word for word. And then Alvin, who's somebody we know who's actually,
Yeah.
man, we are all over the world here because maybe
Wow.
John's in Italy, you're in Canada, I'm in America, Alvin's in
Wow.
Nigeria.
I
Alvin
love
said to
this.
you, a question for you.
Yes.
What's one thing you did that helped uh, kind of rebuild your own visibility and reclaim trust in the market after you had a little bit of a fall?
Oh,
Not
yeah.
that you
From the
couldn't get
learning
back up.
company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you do to rebuild that visibility? And then Ken is in the
Right.
Philippines, so let's not forget about Ken
Yeah.
to
So,
remind him.
upskilling. I did a master's in learning technology at Pepperdine University in beautiful Malibu, California. How inspiring was that?
That's a way to get back up.
That's
Go to
how I
Malibu.
elevated my game, which inspired my my e-magazine that we've been publishing for 18 years, and it inspired my Canadian EdTech Summit because we were
Mm,
challenged to change the world, and I said I'm going to do it one country at a time,
mm,
and we've led the way for the last 18 years since I did that. So really important to continue to upskill, have that growth mindset, and align yourself with not only like-minded people, but people who challenge you and make you better. I like to say I surround myself with smarter people. I launched a co-working space, out about solving
Yeah.
a problem. My university alma mater, York University, God bless them, took my space away when I was thriving with our EdTech company at the university. We started our conference there, and then they said, well, we need the space back. So, I'd been commuting an hour each way, and I said, you know what? I'm going to create my own space. So we created the Mindshare workspace. I started a Google Doc. I had one of my interns say, I said, let's do some research around co-working, and I started a co-working space.
I love it.
7 years later, we're going into our 8th year this fall. So, it's about problem solving skills. And we just challenged the students that we had for a month with us on helping us solve our own internal challenges and external challenges. And it's been, it's amazing when you build community and you have everyone engaged in the process. It's not about me. My philosophy is, you know, draw on the crowd, draw on the crowd, draw on your team, and that's where the best decisions come from. And that's how we've gotten to where we are today. But, I'm upskilling constantly, self-learning, and there's formal learning and there's informal learning, which I shared with Jerry Seinfeld when I was going to graduation. We met in the parking lot at Starbucks on my way to graduation. We had studied his movie documentary, and I talked to him about, formal and informal learning theories that we watched his movie documentary Comedian and commented on his movie from that perspective.
It's a perfect segue. So, Robert, can you ask your wife if we can talk for 8 more minutes?
Sure, she's wandering around here.
Okay.
We stopped at a golf course parking lot, so she's getting some exercise.
8 more minutes. 8 more minutes.
Sure,
I got 2
perfect.
questions for you.
Yeah,
One of them
awesome.
is from Austin. Austin's chiming in from Colombia, the country.
Wow.
So add another country. And he said here in his question, we reached out to many people with an earlier version of their platform, got some traction. In the last few months, we've done a complete rebuild, which is way more powerful. His question is, how can we best reach out to the original pipeline who knows only the first decent version? How would you go about reaching back out to people and say, hey, we've updated?
Right. I think so. School districts, leaders are really impressed when you listen and take in their information. And that's what ERDI is about. From one year to the next, I heard a number of companies say, oh, based on the feedback we got from our panel, we tweaked this platform and we've improved it. So, putting a positive spin on it, we listen to the market, and we are offering, lighthouse pilot opportunities, or, something make it sound special, right? I think that really is effective. I've seen it work for many companies who have gone on to succeed.
Wow, great answer. And then here's my question for you. I mentioned Michael Fay, the guy who bought my business, and he continues to bust my chops about really everything I do, which is fine. But today we were talking about how he was making fun of me that my email address happens to be my first and last name, jc@joshchernikoff.com. So my question for you is, as we're talking about people sharing the stage, we also have our own brands here. We are the brands.
Right.
And is that something you're comfortable with? I believe that people buy from people in education. So I really put myself forward, and I believe that's important for Austin, for John. I encourage these guys to do it. Okay, maybe you and I overshare a little bit, but people buy from people. So where do you fall on kind of the spectrum?
Yeah, well,
company versus person.
And I'm passionate about branding. We do branding with companies, and here's something for you. So my original company name was because I was looking at Martech and that wasn't available. So I went with Martellacci and Associates Inc. We're celebrating 25 years this year, by the way, of Mindshare Learning Media. So what I did was I tweaked the branding and I came up with Mindshare Learning. And then I use technology and they'll say, well, what technology you produce? And I finally, took 20 plus years to be an overnight success in Mindshare Learning Media, right? Because we truly are a media company and consulting company. That's what we do. So in terms of go to market and, being the bridge and the connectors and the equation. So and I'm being mindful, when I want to exit one day, it's not about me. Although you see a lot of my sons are, CPAs, and a lot of the accounting firms or law firms, I heard one Low and Low the other day. Low and Low was the law firm. I thought that was interesting. But so I took my name out of the equation because one day, if I'm going to be acquired, and I've had a number of, inquiries in the past, it's not about me, it's about the brand, right? So from that perspective, when you're looking from an exit perspective, and Mindshare was a brand I came up with. It took a long time to come up with it, and our logo speaks to it. And so, two heads are better than one. I'm a Gemini. There's a lot to unpack there.
Okay.
I hope that helps.
No, it helps. It helps. For me, I've had two companies that have been acquired, and I made sure that I was not the face and not the reason they were going to get
Right.
acquired. In this one, I heard something.
This one's different for you.
This one is very different, and I was listening to Dan Martell, one of your fellow Canadians.
Canadian, yeah.
Yeah, and he was talking about the fact that, I am me and I enjoy this and I think we're doing good things. So, I'm going to put myself forward and so I'm comfortable with that. I am uncomfortable with us going much longer because you need to get back on the road.
Right.
You got to make your way. I don't know if you're going north, south, east, or
we're
east
going north. We're going north.
I feel like
Great
Canadians
White
are always
North.
going north, right?
Yeah.
Is
And
that
by the
way
way,
you go?
there aren't igloos where we're going. There's no icebergs this way, so we're good.
Not this time of year.
No, but if you go to Newfoundland, you'll see icebergs in the ocean go by on occasion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining. Where can people learn more about you? Because it's really tough to find stuff about you.
No.
I'm
Seriously,
kidding.
I need to do a better job of
come on.
marketing myself. So mindsharelearning.com or at mindsharelearn on X. And if someone wants to email me, Robert at mindsharelearning.com. And we really look forward to hosting you and encourage folks to come to, because we're planning an international exchange with the UK and the BEC conference. We're partnering with them. We're partnering with Mexico and South America. So we're inviting the world to converge at the 16th Canadian EdTech AI Summit at the University of Toronto, October 29th and 30th.
I can't wait, man. Well, I invited my family. So
Perfect.
They're coming
Yeah.
as well. So we'll have a family event. I want you to get back on the road with your wonderful wife. You head north and I'll take it from here. Appreciate you stopping the car and taking the time to join us.
Pleasure. Honored, #honored to be with you today, Josh. You do such a great job at illuminating stories, and your commitment to the EdTech community is unparalleled.
Thank you. I appreciate
Grateful
that.
to call you a friend.
Yeah, totally. Have a great weekend, man. Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, everybody. We will take it from here. Robert's going to sign off, I think, in his beautiful Tesla. I believe that's a Tesla. We've got some action items to go over here. So John, Austin, Alvin, everybody who's here, please stick around. I want to give you guys some founder action items. This is your post live homework. So first thing to do is to kind of redefine your strategy. Let's not think about what we do from a standpoint of content. Let's think about it from a standpoint of creating a platform. John, you and I have been talking through this, getting more comfortable with it. Austin is fantastic at this. Austin's really good and has a lot of decent following on LinkedIn. And so Austin, when he does post, he engages the people around him. They are commenting. He's got great ideas and great questions. And so he is more kind of in the platform column than the content platform. One thing that you guys can do as a action item post live with Robert is to spotlight one leader on LinkedIn each week. You can teach by showing. You can create a post that amplifies someone else's expertise. Now, however, before you do that, I encourage you to ask that person if that's okay. I encourage you to also ask them if you can tag them in. So if you are going to spotlight one leader, superintendent, principal, just ask them. Then you can tag them in, and that's helpful. You need a system. You cannot just go about this willy-nilly. You guys know I've talked about LinkedIn like a gym. You got to treat it like a muscle. And so think of this as a long-term opportunity. So if you go into the gym and you just try and push 400 pounds the first time you're getting back in there, well, it's not going to work very well. Start slow, start small, start to see the results, and do this for the long haul. So have a system. And it could just be that on Mondays, you spotlight a leader to start their week off well. It could be on Wednesdays, you talk about something you've experienced in the first 2 days, and you'll be on the lookout and you'll see things. And then Fridays, could be Flashback Friday. There's your system, guys. Plan it out. The thing about content, the thing about your platform is you want to get a month ahead. I wish we could get a month ahead on working out. Wish we could get a month ahead on sleep. But we can't. Okay? We can't. So, but you can get a month ahead on building your platform. So Austin said, what would be the goal of said spotlight? I've seen several people doing this. What would be the goal of it? I think, first of all, I believe on LinkedIn, I believe anywhere you are, people are buying from you. People care about what you stand for and who stands with you. So Austin, being able to highlight a superintendent who you know well enough to say some nice things about, and for them to potentially comment and say, thank you, Austin, for having me. Oh, you missed the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You'll have to catch this on the replay, 1:00 Eastern on Tuesday. I'll try and think of the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But the answer to your question in terms of the goal of said spotlight is just to show who you stand with, who you stand for, and give other people the stage. You've created a nice little stage there, Austin. So let other people have that stage. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Let's say Monday was to spotlight somebody else and start their week off well. Wednesday was an opportunity to look back at the first 2 days of the week. When you look for things, you will see them. You'll see stories. You'll notice things. And then that can be your Wednesday. And Friday can be Flashback Friday. Okay? So a couple of other things I want you guys to think about in terms of your homework is kind of join. Would love to do this with permission this Monday. If not, John, absolutely, man. I think you're asking if you can do the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. For sure. Do whatever works. I just want to see your beautiful mind work well from wherever you are, Georgia or Italy. Do it. One more idea here is to join or host a panel in your niche. Now, when I do a webinar, inevitably somebody reaches out to me and says, man, that was a good webinar, because we really work hard. Ken, Alvin, Samia on our team, Jennifer, work very hard putting these webinars together. We don't just turn the camera on. We basically lead up probably about 120 days out. We start prepping. Truly. And the media that we do is a 2 to 3 week buildup. The deck is 300 slides. I'm practicing. They're grilling me. The tech setup is huge. And then we've got to open a cart, and then we do all of that just to really try and bring in a new cohort. So I am not suggesting that you should host a webinar. I'm sorry, I am not suggesting you should host a masterclass, because those are a monologue. What I am suggesting is host a panel. Get a bunch of people together on a topic. People that bring firepower when it comes to intelligence, personality, reach in their network. Host a webinar, host a panel on an important topic. We're going to have one coming up with my client, Mitch Weisberg. We're going to do this in September on mind shifting for education founders as we get back to September in terms of trying to plant the right seeds for the spring. My last thing for you to do is to share a personal story that connects to your mission. And, I firmly believe that people are interested in the stories that we can share that connect us more with the people around us. Austin, John, Alvin. And so that's why I talk about my dad. I mean, I talk about my dad because obviously I miss the guy every single day. But I talk about him so that, Austin can share his stories. And we've connected over this. And he's been super supportive. And others. Alvin, the guy could be a motivational speaker. So share stories that connect to your mission. And the mission is you got to keep moving forward here. That was my dad's thing. Grow up, not down. And in business, we can experience that every single day. We have to grow up and not down every single day when we're running our own businesses. Shit. And I can say that. We just had a really rough 24 hours in our business. We converted to a brand new website, which was months in the making. And we had some problems with our email. So if you've emailed me over the last 24 hours, my email has been pretty much dead. So please email me again. We got together. Some punches were thrown. No worries. We're family. Samia, Ken, Alvin, Jennifer, myself. And we dusted ourselves off. Emails working again. Site's coming along. That's growing up and not down every single day. We did it today. So Robert was potentially not going to be able to make it to our meeting today. But I said, dude, you're on the road. Join us. Take a minute or 30. Thank you, Robert. Turn the camera on and let's go live, baby. And he did it. I'm still getting adjusted to this new studio of mine. I've got to figure out the light. Sorry, I look so dark right now. Yeah, I got to get a better camera. So I'll hopefully have that by next week. And by the way, not sure if we're going to make it next week, or I might have to adjust the time. We have our 17th annual baseball road trip. Me and all my buddies have gotten together for many, many years, 17 of them. We're going to Arlington, Texas. I'll be traveling on Thursday, so I'm not sure where I'll be or how I'll make it, but we'll figure it out. It's always good to get together, so I want to make sure we find time to get together next Thursday, wherever I am. And so just look for kind of a new time and probably a new location. Yeah, it's a new room, John. We are here in Northwest DC. You know, I know, Austin. Of course, I could face the light. The problem is that we have gone from 3,500 square feet in Mexico to 1,000 square feet. And if I point the camera that way, you're going to see where I live. And it's not that I don't want to invite you into my home, but I'd rather keep this side my office and that side my home. So I've got to figure out the lighting, and I will. No worries. Baseball beer in Texas in July sounds awesome. Yes, there will be more beer than baseball, and that's the way it goes most times with this group. So I appreciate everybody joining, and it's amazing. We had Colombia, Italy, Nigeria, the Philippines, America, and Canada. That's the 6 countries that I saw in front of me in this conversation. That is unbelievable to me. That is unbelievable to me. But it's very believable. And Austin says, one of those Japanese folding walls. Austin, you have not met my wife. There's no way one of those things is going up in this house. Yeah, I'll figure out the lighting. I will. I promise. It's just it's kind of the first week that we're getting settled here. We had a couch delivered. We had my desk delivered. So it'll all work out. I appreciate everybody joining. So we'll figure out a time to meet next week. This will be replayed on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Ken, you're the best. Thanks for joining from the Philippines and always putting us together very well in front of the rest of the group. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's me smiling. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining. Robert, you're the best. You're such a great dude. We didn't even get to talk too much hockey, but we'll bring you back on. And yeah, John, we're feeling the traction too. We truly are feeling the love. I appreciate you guys continuing to show up. It really is helpful. And so we got something really wonderful going here. Thank you for being a part of it. Everybody have a great week. You know how to reach me. I'm on LinkedIn. Catch me by email when my email's working, and it's working again. I'm here to help as much as I can. Robert will always help. And so